Hello, everyone. It's Kristina. I'm here for another night of the Authentic You Power Talks. And tonight we are going to talk about the idea that we sometimes break promises to ourselves. And as many of you know, I am doing this new thing. I'm doing walk and talks as we talk for the next hour. I can't keep asking you to do these things without doing some movement myself. I think it's actually the best thing I possibly can do to keep moving this body. I did do my weights today, but we're getting a little bit older and a little body movement is extremely awesome. We feel great afterwards. And I think the part that's really great about this, for those that don't know, I purchased a walking pad. So a walking pad it's awesome. It's perfect for inside your house if you work from home, if maybe you love to watch your series or movies. You can hop on this walking pad and hammer out those steps that you want to get in and you won't even notice. So here it's going to be a double wow, double bang, because you're listening to me as well as the guests that come on. And we're going to have this great conversation today about why we break promises to ourselves. And really, we got to talk about this because I meet so many people, and I've been one of them, where we're so excited about all these great things. We go out strong, and then somewhere along the way, we just stop. And the way I look at it is that we're breaking promises to ourselves, things that we might not necessarily let other people, we wouldn't do it for other people. That's what I'm trying to say. But somehow we let ourselves down. So we're going to get into that tonight, which I'm really excited. So I'm happy to say that my walking pad is working. We're here. We're ready. We're going to get into this amazing conversation for the next little bit. But let's talk about logistics as to how the show works. So this is a little bit different than your typical podcast. This is more like talk radio, which is awesome because it's not scripted. So I will come up here and I will talk a little bit on a topic. I like to do topics Monday to Thursday, and Friday is open mic night because I think we have to hear from you guys. But the part that is so great is that we've got people all over the world that are sitting in the community and we're connecting and we're talking about real things. And I think that we need to have more space like this. And we have it here on a regular basis at 7 p.m. usually, or 7, 8. I know it sounds awful, but it's between 6 and 8. I know I will be online, and then we end up having these awesome conversations. And you might be asking, how do I get on stage? Well, there is a plus sign beside my face. If you hit that plus sign, it puts you in queue. And when there's a pause in the conversation, I will bring you up and then we start getting into the conversation. Well, I'm really excited to say that we are talking about this because I feel as though sometimes I can even break promises to myself. And I see this happen a lot with clients, and they may not even realize it. They will work with me and they will talk about all these great things that they want to do, but they've let themselves down. They didn't follow through on things along the way. But when you have awareness, it's extremely powerful. You can change your life completely. I believe that wholeheartedly. I guess I should introduce myself because sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but I will today. My name is Kristina Holle. I'm the founder of the Authentic You Coaching and Holle Consulting, and I help people unlock patterns, bring things to consciousness, and really get alignment with the life that they want, leaning it more into fulfillment. And to be honest, and I do it for organizations as well. So you might see me on a stage, you might see me doing workshops, or you might see me here doing one-on-ones with individuals. But I absolutely love it because when we start to realize all those parts that we might have been hiding, or we think that we're broken, or we don't want anyone to know, when we start releasing those parts of ourselves and we start loving them, we start integrating, magic happens. And I get to be a part of that. I get to see that transformation over and over again. And it literally lights me up. Oh, it's such a great place to be. So anyways, that is what I do. And then I'm here on a regular basis, getting into conversations. I'm known to help inspire, motivate, get you going. So what I will say is that while I'm in your ear, if there's stuff that you got to do around the house, maybe you've got to unload a dishwasher, fold laundry, get rid of the mail, whatever it is, go for a walk, take advantage while I'm in your ear. The time will fly by. You will get this extra stuff done and you're going to feel like a superstar, because we want to reduce clutter. And it's not only physical clutter, it transpires and it ends up being like clutter in our head. So the more we can do that stuff, I know with myself, when I have something going on, I will be like, I got to do this. I got to submit this. I've been doing this all week. I got to submit this. This proposal needs to go in, or I just recertified my designation. We're good. But it's a whole thing, right? But I kept telling myself the same thing over and over. I got to do it. And it was just causing me more stress. And now that it's done, I feel like a rock star. So when we realize we can declutter these little things, they actually help us with our mental fatigue and we can show up in a better way. So I'm really excited to say that. So let's welcome in who's here. Oh, sorry guys. I didn't even realize I didn't do this, because I'm walking and I'm talking. The other way you can participate in this space, yes, hey Sandy. The other way you can participate in this space is if you hit the show me some love button. It's located at the bottom of your phone. Hit that button right now. Show me some love. And it's not about me. It's about we create the container. I do this with every single thing that I do. Creating the space so it's safe, it's inclusive, yes, and it's a sense of belonging. We're not here to judge. We're here to be open, inviting, and engage in this conversation. Now, I'm here to tell you, when we actually sync up our energy like that, we increase the vibration. And what happens is some of the negative stuff, actually, I would say all, it can't get in, because it's like a special little bubble that we put into place because we've set the intention that we're going to have a powerful conversation that is safe. So I want to say thank you again. Let's try one more time before I welcome in. Hit that button if you're here right now. Let's create the space. Create it. Hit that button. Show some love. Let everyone know that you're here. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. And when we do that, magic happens. I hear it after when I listen to clips on the way in. One, people in the room. That's not a coincidence. Really great things. I can see and feel the energy actually does change afterwards. Awesome. So who do we have here? We never have you come to my house without saying hello. I've got Steve, I've got Sandy, I got Ethel and Lisa. Hi, Lisa. I haven't seen you in a while. Katarina, Kel's here. Chelsea, Mary, Lisa, Matthew, Wayne, Kimberly. Who else? Molly, David, Brian, Nicole, Sherry, Ryan, Carolyn, just to name a few. All right, guys, we are here and we are ready to talk about why we break promises to ourselves. But I already have someone in queue, so I'm going to bring them up before I get started. So who do we have here? Frederick? Let's see what Frederick has to say.
Double-digit landslide, but now?
Going once, going twice, and 3 times. Thank you, Frederick. You might have hit the button in error, but if you want to come back later, you're always most welcome to come up. But let's get into this conversation. I actually think it's pretty powerful. Why do we break promises to ourselves? So let's talk about something that might hit a little deeper than we would like to admit. So breaking promises to ourselves looks like this. Oh, I'm going to start when? I'm going to start, you keep putting it off. You really want to do whatever it is. I'm going to start. I'm going to do it, but you never actually take action. Or you might say something like, this time I'm serious. Gosh, have I said that so many times? This time I'm going to get myself back on track. I am serious. And we're telling ourselves that we're going to do it, but we're not really doing it. Or I'm done with this pattern. And we say all these things, we claim it, but we don't follow through. And that's when it hurts the most. Because when we do that, we are sending mixed messages to self. There is an erosion of self-trust. So if you believe that you're going to do it and someone doesn't follow through, okay, let's do it that way. If someone says they're going to pick you up and they just never show up, are you going to trust them the same way when they say that they're going to give you a ride? Probably not. But we're doing the same thing with ourselves. These are patterns that we start building in. The idea that we don't follow through, that we're not really important. The truth is, it's not about discipline. A lot of people, and trust me, I was the poster girl for discipline. Those marching orders, things that I had to do, the grinding, the push to get what I thought needed to be done. And you can do that. You'll probably get results until you can't do it anymore. You can only do it for so long without realizing that discipline is a part of it, but it goes deeper because we don't break promises because we're lazy. We usually break them because a part of us doesn't feel safe enough to keep them. Or we may not believe that we actually can do it. Or we don't want to put ourselves in the limelight that way or bring that type of attention to ourselves. We get pretty clever and how the stories that we tell ourselves about how we're supposed to show up. And then usually there's a point, if you find yourself breaking promises to yourself, that's when you're starting to go down the road of self-sabotage. Because what really happens is that every promise that you make to yourself regarding a version that you want to change, it's going to trigger something. It's going to trigger uncertainty, maybe discomfort, potentially exposure or risk. Maybe you'll think, oh my gosh, I can't do this. I'm going to lose all my money. I can't lose all this weight. It's too much. It feels uncomfortable. I much prefer to sit back and do what I know. So what happens is that your system, and there's many different ways, and we can go into this another time, but there's a part of you, these beliefs that you've pulled in, is trying to protect you. Pulls you back into old habits, familiar patterns, and temporary comfort. Not because your nervous system is wired for safety. Oh, sorry, I said that wrong. Because your nervous system is wired for safety and not expansion. So I want to say that again. Because your nervous system is always looking for safety and doesn't want you to expand, it automatically is going to start telling you stories about the way you can't do things, or you fluff it off, you pretend that you don't have time for it. I always say to people when I would hear, oh, I don't have time, I'm like, hey, I get it. But if we can't carve at least 30 minutes out for ourselves on a daily basis, we probably have, there's an opportunity there. Let's just put it that way, to see where you are in the equation. Or are you just telling yourself, I'm so busy, I can't? Because when I hear that now, that's more like I've said yes to everybody else and I've said no to me. And again, that goes back to eroding your self-belief, your self-love, your self-confidence. And we want to do the opposite, especially when we're leaning into our overall well-being. So the internal conflict, the little voice that starts whispering, the one that no one talks about. And in my work, I talk about this voice all the time because it always surfaces. And I think it's so great. I feel so fortunate that it does, because then we can engage in a dialogue with it and we can put it to rest. At least not rest, but we can park it so we can get into where we want to go. So there might be two parts of you. Let's think about what your dream is. What is something you want? Maybe it's losing 50 pounds. Maybe it's having a new house, or I don't know, a new job, new relationship. So there's two parts of you. The future you, we can do this. I'm going to set goals. I see the vision. I want more. This is the path I want. But that protective side, this is the one I actually had a client call today about masks, will start telling you stories and will start saying, oh no, that's a great idea, but we don't want to rock the boat. This feels a little bit too risky. I'm safe here. Let's just stay where it's familiar. And when those two aren't aligned, that is where we break the promise. In that moment where we start leaning in and listening to the protective self, probably because it's been protecting you for a very long time, instead of listening, following through on future self, where you want to go. It's not because you don't care. It literally is because there's a divide. And there's a voice in you that has been with you for a long time and has done a great job protecting you, but now might be limiting you from your overall growth to where you want to go. So how does this impact your overall well-being? Because everything I want to talk about is always around well-being. And it goes like this. Every time you break a promise to yourself, your confidence drops. And that inner dialogue becomes louder and harsher. I told you couldn't do it. Why did you waste all that money? Why did you waste all that time? And then your energy becomes heavier. And I think the saddest part, and this is, you can get me started, this is what the system wants you, the big system, our society wants you to do, is self-trust starts to weaken. And guess what happens when we do that? If we're not trusting ourselves, who are we listening to? Everybody else. And guess who makes a lot of money on that? There's a lot of money that gets made. Oh, you don't feel pretty? Buy my product. Oh, you don't feel as though that you have it all together? Buy my clothes. Oh, are you getting older? You better start doing plastic surgery. This is totally real. So everything that we talk about is always about you leaning into trusting yourself. And the way we start trusting ourselves is that we don't break our promises anymore. And we believe in ourselves and we follow through. Because if we keep breaking those promises, over time, you stop believing in yourself. How sad is that? And guys, I would say 90% of people have been in this space. But this is why, including myself, but this is why we break free. This is why these conversations are essential for you to have a deeper understanding. Because when you're feeling stuck, it's not the stuckness, it's not just the quicksand. Somewhere along the way, you stop believing that you can get out of it. Believing that you're stronger than you think. And when we start being disconnected in how we feel, it's only for ourselves. Think about those that are in our circle, or maybe outside of our circle. Empathy, compassion, all that stuff can start to disappear. And I know many of us don't want to operate in that way, but it's something for us to reflect and think about. Not because we want to be stuck or we want to be disconnected. Many of us don't even know that we are. But truly, it's because we've lost our way in really learning to trust ourselves and show up for ourselves. So I want you to think about that today. Think about things. If you had a family member and you said that you were going to do something for them, would you do it? Are you that type of person that shows up and you follow through? Majority of people would say, yeah, that's me, man. I got your back. Whatever you need, I'm showing up. I got you. But why do we not do that for ourselves? And I had to learn that one. I had to learn that, hey, I'm just as important. In fact, I'm more important than all those people that I'm showing up for. I got to have my own back. I got to follow through on this dream, this path of where I want to go. And all of you, as you're listening, what your thing is. Maybe there's something here that really speaks to your heart about what you want to do. Maybe you want to start your own business. Maybe you want to have meaningful and deep conversations and relationships. But you can't get there if you are in protection mode. Those connection pieces happen when we learn to be more vulnerable, when we learn to show up for ourselves, when we learn to have discernment, we can see things differently. I'm going to pause there and get a drink. And if anyone has anything to say, feel free to come up to the stage. All right, guys, I guess we're being a little more quiet today, but I want you guys to think about, have you been keeping your promises to yourself, or did we get a little lost along the way? It's interesting because I had a client conversation today. I had a couple, but this one really stood out for me. Such a beautiful soul. And I'm so fortunate that I get to work with this person. And when we started getting past all the protection and all this stuff, there was a worry. And it sounds like everybody has their stuff, but there was a worry around, what if they don't like me? And I'm dying to have meaningful relationships in my life. But somewhere along the way, that other voice has been stronger and has gotten this person to hide in order to fit. But it's not aligned with what her authentic, true self wants. So when we believe in ourselves, we learn to have discernment. So let's talk about discernment a little bit. So discernment to me is so much deeper than judgment. Discernment is a deep knowing within. And there's a lot going on in the world right now with people. And some people think that people are not nice. Others think that people are bad. But I truly believe the majority of people are really good. But we have to have discernment in order to be able to create connection here. And this is a part of us being able to keep that promise to ourselves, that we trust ourselves enough to know what's good for us and what's not. And when we do the work, and I always talk about doing the work, it is extremely powerful, because when we lean into that, we start identifying our blind spots. We don't put ourselves in positions where maybe other people can easily inflate our tires because we haven't inflated our own tires. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Because when that happens, and I've had it happen to me directly years ago, and I don't think this would happen again, is that I didn't see it. I didn't see that there were some parts that I had broken promises to myself. I thought I had it all together, and they were blind spots for different people who are intentionally looking for those blind spots so they can manipulate. So tonight's talk is for me to really explain to all of you that the more you keep promises to yourself, the more you love yourself, the more you will have discernment and value for yourself, that you're not going to allow people that are not aligned on the same frequency to even come in. They can't touch you. But you got to do the work. You got to be loud and proud and willing to say, I'm not breaking any more promises to myself. I am important. I matter. Because most people, this is the shift, most people want to avoid it. They want to talk about this stuff. They want to look on the outside. Everything's good. Don't look inside. It's kind of like that idea. Oh my God, I don't know why this visual came up, so bear with me. When you go into someone's house and it's like, oh my God, it's absolutely gorgeous. Everything is perfect. And then once you start opening cupboards or closets, everything is falling out. All the stuff. So it's not really perfect. It was set up, planned that way. I'm trying to get you to the point where open my cupboards, no problem. And if I have stuff on my couch, that's totally cool. I'm good with it because I trust myself. I hope that makes sense to you guys. It's making me laugh because think it really makes a lot of sense where people are hiding things. So, how do we build self trust? It's not through big declarations, it is through small, consistent practices, having integrity, doing what you say and say what you do instead of, I'm going to change the world, I'm changing everything. I would encourage you guys to start with smaller things. I'm going to do this one thing today and I'm going to follow through. Even if it feels small or if it feels insignificant, it is more important for you to keep your promise to yourself. So you're starting to say, hey, I can trust myself again. I can connect with myself again. It's great. So, as a new way forward, before I ask you to make your next promise, I want you to sit back and reflect and ask, am I actually available for this? Do I have capacity for this? Before you start telling yourself, I'm going to do this, I'm changing my life, be honest with yourself about where you're at. Maybe it won't be 50 pounds, but maybe it can be 10. Maybe you can say healthy eating for the next, 12 weeks. It's really good because you start building habits there. That's a whole other discussion. But I want us to stop feeling the need to blow smoke and really do things that are achievable. One little thing at a time so you can start building your confidence in real life. Remember, motivation will only take you so far. It's the small, doable steps and being honest with yourself, being consistent that allow you to truly keep those promises to yourself. So I'm going to take a pause here, open the queue. Thank you so much. Steven, come on up, my friend, and I'm going to have a drink of water. Hey, how's it going?
It's going. So are you on a walking pad?
I am on the walking pad, yes. I love it.
Well,
I love so good.
I'm kind of warming up on the elliptical so I can go do the Bowflex.
Woo! I love it. Look at us. We're so active. We're keeping those promises to ourselves.
Well, the whole thing, I lived in a house prior to 2016. It was like an HGTV reveal every time somebody walked in the door, And now it's pretty much a living space because it's just me and the cats.
Oh, that's funny.
But it was so funny. I learned this whole thing back in second or third grade. We had one teacher, and she's like, she had the desk that was covered with everything. And she was one of the most kindest people you ever met. But people would judge her on that. And I remember my mom saying something that was like, oh, her desk was so neat last night. She must have it all together. And the next day, here she is taking all the stuff out of the drawers or out of the closet or wherever, and putting it back on her desk. And I'm like, oh, this is all just, it's fake is what it is.
I know.
Bring it completely out into the open. It's just fake.
Well, and then you think about how people are measuring themselves up against that. It's not real.
Yes, it is. And that's their perception. Well, I have to be like that person, otherwise people won't like me. And I'm like, I don't know where you got that from. And I like to tell this. So the long hair in that picture is a filter.
Oh, is it?
I once had a lady 4 years older than me, swiped right. And one of her first messages, I'm not sure I want to date a guy with older hair like that, older long hair like that. I'm like, oh, thank God for telling me ahead of time. I didn't waste my time any further.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
And then there's other times where it's like, oh, look at the car that you drive. And I'm like, they're just renting it for the day. I wrote a check for mine.
Right.
But I swear one of the best examples, and I love to do this because it's the cowboy version of telling the story. So there was this guy named Sam, and Sam's boss wasn't working out. So the boss of Sam's boss sends Sam off on a mission, says, you got to find me a new boss. I'm like, he's like, oh, go to Jess's house. And this guy named Jess, he's got some kids. And one of the kids, I think, is going to be the boss. And so he goes there and starts looking him over. First one rolls in and it's like, God, this guy's humongous. Look at the size of this dude. And slowly but surely, Sam's boss in his ear keeps saying, nope, nope, not that one. Finally, he's like, any more kids? There's one. Let me go get him. Brings him in. Yep, that's the last one. That's the one. He's the one. Do you have the story?
No, I don't get it. I feel like it's like Cinderella and the shoe. What? That's the one.
Samuel took his flask of olive oil and anointed King David.
Wow. That's the one, all right. Oh my goodness, Stephen, you and your stories, they're awesome. It's always, and it's so funny, before you got to the last one, it kind of sounds like Cinderella and the shoes and the trying to get the right fit. And then now you've clarified for me. So thank you so much. And you said something that I want to touch on. And it's so interesting. I see it in my practice all the time that there's so many people, really awesome people, that are so worried that they're not going to be liked if they step out. I hear these conversations all the time that they're not going to like me, they're going to laugh at me, they're going to judge me. And it's not from one, like tons. And I have had it from really well-established individuals. But I think it's across the board. And when we start to really lean into ourselves and trust ourselves and show up for ourselves, have our back, then we can see how awesome we really are. Sometimes we forget about that. We're too busy being worried about how other people are going to interpret something. And trust me, I've been there too. And I was saying this not too long ago. I did that video. That video was hard for me to do. But when I really look at it as an outside looking in, it set me free. It's like I don't care anymore. I can finally keep these promises to myself and honor all those other parts. And that's what I ask for many people that I work with. There's two people that are coming up, and one is a guy who's in his 60s. And when I think that this is a bit of a knack of what I can do with my intuitive gifts and plus all my magic, all the stuff that I do, people open up. And because they open up so quickly, we can really nip those things in the butt. Because it's really hard to keep promises to yourself if you don't feel as though you're good enough. You don't think you're good enough, you're the first person you're going to drop. Well, there's no real investment here. Why should I follow through? My kids are more important. Oh, my partner's more important. Oh, my work is more important. How many times have we heard those narratives? And it impacts your overall well-being because this is the core of who you are. If you don't believe in yourself, who's going to believe in you? And I really am saying that with so much love, because when you can understand that there's such power to go, hey, wait a minute, I have been giving all this stuff away. I have been looking to other people to tell me if I'm okay. People that might not have my back. Maybe they don't have the same views as I do or opinions. Maybe they are loud and I'm quiet, but I just stay quiet in order to fit in. Well, when you're doing that, make sure you're doing it for you and not just going with the flow in order to avoid things. Because that would be a perfect example of not keeping a promise to yourself. And I'll use this, I'll follow it through. You're not being true to yourself. And when we're not being true to ourselves and our beliefs and our opinions, then that's really telling us, you're telling you, yourself, that you're not very important, or it's not important enough to have conviction to stand behind it, because you're too worried about who you might lose if you actually make a decision to speak your truth or to be who you are. And ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it really worth it? Because it's not about now, but let's seriously think about it. It's about the last chapters of your life. Do you want to think about that you never gave yourself a chance because you never thought you were worthy? I'm here, and there's many of us on here, that whoever's hearing this and it resonates with you, or you're going, I know that feeling. I'm here to tell you that you are amazing and you are so deserving of great things. But we got to believe in it. We got to believe in ourselves and understand no matter the path, the bumps, the bruises, the good, the bad, the ugly, you're still worthy of greatness, still worthy of love, because you are love. But you will discover that as you learn to keep promises with yourself. So let's see here. I will close with this. Self-trust is not built in big moments. I want you to remember that. It's built in the quiet little follow-throughs that you have with yourself. You don't need to become someone new overnight, but you do need to become someone who says what they say. Sorry, who does what they say. And what is it? They will do what they say. Oh my God, I'm saying it all backwards. Does what they say, and they will do what they say. I said it earlier, and now it's not coming. They follow through in what they say they will do. And you know that you will be there for yourself. You would honor your own words, especially to yourself. I want you to be extremely mindful of the words that you share with yourself on a regular basis. Because if we're sharing words that are unkind, that alone is not showing up for yourself. That's not keeping a promise that you're going to love yourself. It's actually the opposite. So I'm going to pause here. I'm going to open queue before we get into tonight's mantra. I'm going to have another drink, and we'll see if any of you guys have anything to say. You guys are pretty quiet today. Maybe you're not even with me anymore. But I think it's a very important conversation to acknowledge that if you're not showing up for yourself, no one else is going to do it for you. And I really think when we learn to love ourselves, truly love ourselves, not the manis and petties, like I said, that's self-care, that's not self-love. When you start to really love yourself, that means things like you like hanging out with yourself. You don't have to be with people all the time. You like going out for a walk, maybe going for a coffee, sitting at the water, writing in a journal. That's something that someone who loves themselves would do, and they wouldn't have a problem with that. So I think it's really important to understand that. You guys don't see this right now, but Ronnie's in here and he's making fun of me while I'm on the walking pad.
And I'm here.
Oh my God, you're not. Like, I'm walking right now.
Sorry.
What?
I'm excited for you.
What? Because of my walking pad? No. I'm loving myself. God. So this is a little insight to our life. But what I will say is something like the walking pad. That's a commitment to myself. I can do it because I'm with you guys on a regular basis. It's awesome because I will get an hour walk in. But that is, I love myself so much that I know body movement is really important. Do you see how the language changes? It's not discipline, I got to do this, or if I don't, I'm going to punish. No, it's reframing. It's showing up in a way that is kind, nurturing, and joyful almost, having fun with it. So I want you to think about that today. How are you loving yourself? What kind of promises are you keeping to yourself, or are you not? I'm not here to judge it. It's not about that. This is merely about bringing attention to get you to think about it on a deeper level. And what are some things that you could do? What are things that you do with your friends that you really like? Can you do that with yourself? Do a little experiment with that. If you're sitting back, and I know this sounds bad, but just bear with me because I have all these views on social media. If you are losing time, doom scrolling, and watching things that are not nurturing you, do you think that that is an act of love towards yourself? Or are you breaking a promise to keep yourself safe and operate in a place of really great well-being? That's the intention here, is about alignment. So I'll leave that with you guys to think about. And I guess I will go into our mantra tonight, and then we'll see where we go from there. So if we're going to go into mantra, if you like what I had to say, give a follow. I am here on a regular basis. You want to give a follow because sometimes it gets a little wonky at nighttime. But give a follow and we will connect here. And then let's get into our mantra. So when we get into mantra, it's very important to me that we start to regulate and we start to do our breath. So here we go. Deep breath in, deep breath out. One more. Deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Let's do one more. Deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. I'm going to say tonight's mantra, and if you would like, repeat after me. We're going to claim it. Here we go. I don't need to prove anything. I just need to follow through. And I build trust with myself one promise at a time. Say it again. I build trust with myself one promise at a time. All right, you beautiful souls. I just want to say thank you for tonight. I hope that you enjoyed tonight's talk. And I will see you later. And I will be back on regular time tomorrow. We will talk then. Bye.